I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So, my last video was my pile of shame out there for all the world to see. I think it's not that bad, really, I suppose. I haven't seen any other pile of shame videos, so I got no reference point. I've seen lots of videos of people who put their entire armies out there, and I've seen the Banter Bat Rep guy, Mini Wargaming Dave or whatever, and his like ridiculous amount, like 100,000 points or whatever armies. It'd be nice to have one that big. Speaking of like big armies and whatnot, so I think I've spoken recently about all of my chaos against my necrons. So we're gonna do that today. Necrons will do a defense kind of deal, and all four chaos armies for the most part will be on the field and attacking. So the lore will be that a bunch of chaos leaders got together because they discovered this entrance to a tomb world and decided eventually that they were all going to group together and attack it. And the ultimate meta part for me is that if Chaos did manage to destroy all the convergences, then I would assume that they had made it, into the tomb world itself because they destroyed all the defenders, which will force me to make new terrain, kind of depicting the Necron tomb world interior kind of thing as the Chaos invaders fight their way past the Canoptic Sentinels and stuff like that. So, yeah. Should be a good experience. Yeah, I was pulling this guy out of the drawer. He's an Annihilation Barge, and my hand said nope, and I dropped him. So I'm not going to have this guy for the game, and that makes me sad, because I'm going to probably need my Annihilation Barge. I don't know. Either way, I got a 6x6 table that I use for D&D as well as this, although the green area is just a 4x6. So this is all of my cemetery terrain with pretty much all the hill terrain I got. Chaos will be lined up along here. The Necron convergences will be somewhere in here, along with the Surface Defense Force. We're gonna go until the convergences are destroyed or the Chaos forces are destroyed. I'm gonna predict that the Necrons are gonna be able to destroy the Chaos forces. Should be a great experience. Alright, so we're gonna meet the armies and we're gonna play this game. Alright, so the first of the four factions that will be definitely beating the crap out of the Necrons today, hopefully, are these Night Lords. We've got a Chaos Lord, a Master of Executions, a Dark Apostle, who knows Warp Sight Plea, a Master of Possessions, who knows Incursion and Infernal Gaze, and a Sorcerer, who knows Prescience and something else. These guys will all be riding in this actual rhino over here. Then we have 3 10-man groups of Chaos Space Marines. This one's led by a Legionnaire with a chain axe and a plasma pistol. The heavy bolters in this group. We got an aspiring champion has a plasma pistol and a chainsword. These guys have a flamer. And then these guys, the aspiring champion has a plasma pistol and a power fist, and they have the auto cannon. So then we also have 5 Havocs, 2 with the last cannon, 1 with a reproof chain cannon, and 1 with a heavy bolter. These 5 guys will also be riding around in the actual Rhino with the command group. These guys look like Greater Possessed, but I'm told they have the same base size as Chaos Spawn, so I guess that's what they are. Got a Hellbrute with a twin las cannon and a Hellbrute fist with a flamer. 3 bikers. An actual rhino, and then 3 proxy rhinos that the Space Marines will be riding around in. And then hanging out in their teleportarium area, we have 5 warp talons, and then 2 obliterators. Alright, so that's the Night Lord portion of the Chaos Alliance. So here we have the Thousand Suns portion of the Alliance. We have an Exalted Sorcerer on Disc who knows Prescience and Master of Fates. He'll be riding around on his own because he's got a disc. 2 regular Exalted Sorcerers. The one that's not floating around on the green stuff knows Weaver of Fates and Diabolic Strength. And the other one knows Warp Time and Glamour of Zinch. These guys will be riding around in the actual Thousand Suns Rhino. We have 10 Rubric Marines, 4 with Warp Flamers, 4 with the Infernal Bolt Guns. They have a guy with a Soul Reaper cannon, and the Rubric Sorcerer guy knows Zinch's Firestorm. Units that don't have Psyker powers, so we got 3 groups of 10 Zangors. So we got 2 groups of 5 Scarab Occult Terminators. Both of their sorcerers know Doombolt. The one on the left has the Reaper Soul Cannon. Soul Reaper Cannon. Dyslexia today. The one on the right has the Heavy Warp Flamer. Both of them have the Hellfire Missile Rack. The Rubrics will be riding around in the slightly less than real Thousand Suns Rhino. This proxy little guy right here. So yeah, that'll be the Thousand Suns portion of our Chaos Alliance. And because of bleekrides' continued loan of his AdMech, I can run this grouping of Chaos Knights. So we have an actual Knight Desecrator, and we're going to pretend that this Knight Castellan is also a Knight Desecrator. And these are going to be 3 War Dogs, but I couldn't immediately find the stats for those guys, so we're just going to use all this stuff for the Armored Warglaive. And then we're going to proxy in Fabius Bile as a Warpsmith for this guy. And then my actual kit-bashed Warpsmith will be following this guy around. So, Chaos Knights joining into the fun of this Chaos Alliance. Alright, so we have the slaaneshi portion of the Chaos Alliance and the last member. So we have 5 Seekers, 2 groups of 10 Demonettes, a Demon Prince with wings with the sword who knows Hysterical Frenzy, the mostly finished Exalted Seeker Chariot, the other Demon Prince with wings and an axe, and he also knows Hysterical Frenzy, the new Demon Prince with a sword who knows Phantasmagoria, and Shaloxi Hellbane who knows Cacophonic Choir and the Pavane of Slaaneshi. These 4 groups are going to be taking on the Necron Surface Defense Force, which will hopefully be able to fend these guys off. So we'll go ahead and meet those guys. Alright, so for today's game, this is what I've decided should be okay. I dropped one of my Annihilation barges earlier, and okay, yeah, that's a loss. That was the one that had the Gauss cannon, so that's definitely a loss. But these guys should be able to hold them off otherwise. So in the teleportarium for these guys, we have 3 Hexmark Destroyers. On the actual ground surface area, we've got 4 Locust Heavy Destroyers, 2 with the Enmitic Exterminator, 2 with Gauss Destructors, an Annihilation Barge, and it has a Tesla Cannon, 2 Doomsday Arcs, and the Canoptic Doom Stalker, and then the Convergence of Dominion. So if you've never seen one of my games before, I use these like teleporters. At the end of the movement phase, a unit pops out here. Normally I do it on a 3-up, but because of the amount of guys that are coming, a unit will pop out every turn. On the first turn it's just troops. On the second turn it'll be a troop or an elite. On the third turn it could be a Catan, maybe. The Silent King can come out whenever a convergence gets destroyed, if I want him to. And that's pretty much the only limitations for this game for the Necrons. So yeah, this is going to be a ridiculous experience. Reset up the board, do our deployment thing, and we're going to start this experience because, oh my god, just looking at it, I'm dumb. I'm dumb, this is so much. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good time. Alright, so that's the Chaos Horses mostly deployed. There's still some stuff in the teleportarium, and there's a lot of stuff in those rhinos. So this is our Thousand Sun end. Got all our Zangors with the Exalted Sorcerer on a disc, and then the Proxy Rhino with the rubrics, and the Real Rhino with the HQs. And then the other 3 Proxy Rhinos all have Night Lord Space Marines in them. And then the Real Rhino has the HQs and a group of Havocs. And then we got the Venom Crawler, the Spawn, the Hellbrute, and the Bikers back there. Then next to them we've got the Night House, the 2 Night Desecrators, and the 3 War Dogs. And then far over on the left we have Slaaneshi, as far away from Tzeentch as possible. Demonettes and Exalted Secret Chariot on the hill. And then kind of behind the hill is the 3 Demon Princes, the Seekers, and Shaloxi Hellbait. So that's what we have for the Surface Defense Force. If these guys can, if the attackers can destroy all 3 of the convergence teams, then they win. Doomsday Ark and the Heavy Destroyer on this hill. Doomstalker in this little valley. 2 other Heavy Destroyers kind of behind the fountain here. Annihilation Barge down on that valley, and then Doomsday Ark and the Heavy Destroyer up there. Alright, so the convergences will spit something out every round. Hopefully the Necron defense works out here. But it is Chaos's turn. They get to go first as the attacker, so we get to start off with Chaos movement. Merlin, help me. Alright, so pretty much this entire grouping has just exploded forward. With the exception of the Night House, everybody else advanced. So the Thousand Sun Rhinos got kind of far. These Zangors really didn't get that far. The Night Lord's Rhinos got all the way up to here. The Greater Possessed and the Bikers got kind of far. The Venom Crawler and the Hellbrute are going to take a long time because they're slow. The War Dogs kind of moved up a lot. The Knights just moved up a little bit because everybody else is in their way. And then all of the Slaaneshi forces advanced forward as far as they could as well. Ordinarily this would be the Psychic phase, but there's really no beneficial reason for anybody over there to cast any sort of Psychic thing. Having said that, that'll take us to the Shooting phase. The Night House, I'm pretty sure the only ones within range here, so this ought to be interesting. Alright, so the 2 Night Desecrators are actually the only things that could shoot. And they both shot at the Annihilation Barge over here and got it down to 1 health. That was weird. I fully expected to lose that thing. Oh well. Nobody's close enough for a charge, so that will make it the Necron turn. So, movement. Wow, Really not going to be a lot of movement here, but stuff will be popping out, and stuff will be popping out. That's about it. Alright, so none of the surface defense force dudes moved. The Annihilation Barge gained a wound back, which puts him up to 2. And each one of these convergences spat out 5 immortals with Tesla Carbines. Don't have a Catan yet. They're not available until the 3rd round. So we'll go on to the Necron shooting phase. Which I gotta say, I mean, Necron defenses are probably my favorite kind of game when I'm playing against myself. And Necron shooting has been and always will be my favorite phase. And that's especially true with the defense kind of thing, so Doomsday Arcs are about to shoot a lot of stuff. That was super awesome. Like, super, super awesome. So, both of these heavy destroyers and this Doomstalker killed off the Rhino that had these guys in it. It did explode, and some of them died, like 3 of them. It was a terrible day. Well, it was a great day. A great day. And then this Doomsday Arc by himself killed this Rhino. All of the rubrics made it out of that one, though, sadly. That's pretty much all that happened for shooting. There was a lot of misses and saves and whatnot, but in terms of destruction and happiness, 2 Rhinos are dead. That makes me a happy Necron. So, not going to charge anybody because there's nobody close enough. So we'll go on to the 2nd round. Chaos Forces and Movement. Alright, so the Chaos Forces are rolling ever closer. Pretty much everybody is at the midway point here. Thousand Suns Rhino has moved up next to these guys. Just hung out. The Zangors have gotten across here with the guy on the disc jumping ahead of them. These Zangors moved up. The Night Desecrators have split apart, one going off towards the Slaaneshi side, one coming over here towards the middle, I think. Let's see, these guys moved up, the Bikers moved up, Zest moved up, the Rhino. All of the War Dogs are heading over towards the Slaaneshi side over there. Speaking of the Slaaneshi side, so pretty much everything over here advanced forward again because they're just melee troops for the most part. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Psychic phase. So, after measuring, these 2 demon princes right here are going to try and smite the Locust Heavy Destroyer there. Let's see, so smite goes off on a 5, so the close one gets it with a 7, so well, there's 3 damage. So the other one gets with a 10. Yeah, so 5 damage, that's enough to kill that thing. So this Exalted Sorcerer is going to try and do Prescience on the Rubric Marines. Goes up on a 7. Gets with an 8. So these guys are now +1 to hit. So the Aspiring Sorcerer here is going to do Tzeentch's Firestorm on this guy. Alright, so that goes up on a 7. That's an 8. 96. Every 6 is a mortal wound. There's 1/6 there. 96 and only takes 1 wound. Okay. So that'll be it for psyching. Psyching. Man. It's not even late yet here. Oh well. That's the end of the psycher phase. So that'll take us on over to Chaos Alliance shooting phase. Alright, that was some crazy stuff. So the Thousand Suns actual Rhino and the Night Lord's actual Rhino did a little bit of damage to the heavy destroyer that used to be over here. And then the proxy Night Desecrator just went ahead and killed it. Finished it off, put it out of its poor little heavy destroyer misery. I'm sure it was angry. And then the actual Night Desecrator over there did some damage to the Doomsday Ark on the hill. They pretty much missed everything else. Not a whole lot still in range over here. This is pretty much a melee army from what I can see. Most of their shooties up close. Oh well. Still not close enough to charge, but that'll change next turn. So yeah. So that'll take us to the Necrons. Guys will move, health will come back, more stuff will come out. It'll be a good turn. So movement. Alright, so the Annihilation Barge and the Doomsday Ark regained a wound each. These hex marks hopped in out of their teleport thing. And there's another hex mark over here between the Immortals and the Annihilation Bars that also hopped in out of its teleport thing. All of the Immortals that came in last turn advanced forward as far as they could, which was pretty far for all of them. And then some Scorpex came out of this one. 8 Lich Guard with sword and board came out of that one. And then another group of Scorpex out of that one. Okay, so not the third turn, so no Catan. So Necron shooting instead. I guess it's not really instead, but lots of Necron shooting either way. Alright, so the 2 hex marks here killed out the Rubiks that were all over here, bunched up in a little group. The farthest away from me, the one on the right. Yeah, the Locust Heavy Destroyer on the right there, along with the Annihilation Barge, the Hexmark, all those Immortals, and that Doomsday Ark up there actually did manage to kill off the Exalted Secret Chariot. Everybody else actually managed to save. So while I did roll a lot of dice, I didn't actually kill a lot of things. These 5 Immortals in the front did manage to kill off 2.5 of these Chaos Space Marines. I guess they're Legionnaires in the 9th edition, so readjusting on from 8th to 9th here. So now that they got 2 wounds, at least they live a little bit longer. Good times. Yay, Chaos. The Necrons are not going to charge because they're just not close enough. That takes us to the 3rd round. And movement for the Chaos Alliance. Alright, so everybody's been advancing up pretty well. All of these guys advanced up. The Rhino just moved up. The Obliterators have dropped down out of their teleportarium onto this hill. Bikers making their way to the gate. These Chaos Space Marines advanced forward but didn't quite get enough to get up on the hill itself. Proxy Rhino moved up with the Grey Possessed spawn thingies next to him. These Zangars advanced, didn't get very far. Hellbrute and Night Desecrator are coming. These Rhinos just kind of traded places. The War Dogs are also making their way forward. Over here on the Slaaneshi side, everybody's just kind of moved forward. Nobody's advanced. Got these Seekers and Demonettes getting ready to charge in, and all of these Demon Princes and Shalaxi, well, all of these Demon Princes are probably going to do some Psyker stuff. Alright, so about that Psyker stuff. So the new Demon Prince up there by the Doomsday Ark is going to try and do Phantasmagoria on said Doomsday Ark. Goes off on a 7. That is not a 7. Alright, so one of those two demon princes is gonna, the ones on the ground, the old ones, one of those two is gonna try and do hysterical frenzy on the seekers. It goes off on a 7 also, which he gets. So the seekers are now +1 attacks and hit rolls of 6 or better. Hit rolls of 6 generate an extra hit. Well, since the other one was just going to try and do it on the seekers if he failed, he's just not going to do anything. Yeah. Alright, so that'll take us to the chaos grouping shooting phase. Everybody's a lot closer now, so stuff's going to be kind of crazy here. Alright, well, the Night House is definitely putting in the work that it needs to here. This Night Desecrator killed off the Locust Heavy Destroyer that used to be in that spot right there. Both of these Obliterators killed off one of the Hex Marks that was right there. The far Night Desecrator did a crap ton of damage to the Doomsday Arc up there. The Night Lord's Rhino killed off a couple of these Immortals. Everybody else managed to save. It always sucks to lose Immortals because those things are great. So the charge phase is mainly going to be over there on the purple slaaneshi side. So the Seekers are going to charge into the Immortals, and the new Demon Prince is going to charge into the Doomsday Arc. This ought to be super ridiculous. Alright, so both the Seekers and the new Demon Prince made it in. Neither one of them suffered any damage from Overwatch. The Seekers absolutely murdered the Necron Immortals. There's nothing left of them. And the Demon Prince did indeed destroy the Doomsday Arc, and it did not explode. It could have at least exploded. So yeah, that makes this this area over here is now properly invaded. That's a problem. On the plus side, it is the Necron turn. And it is the 3rd round, so that means a Catan can come out. So here's looking forward to that for Necron movement. So ordinarily, wounded Necrons would regain a wound because of living metal, but there weren't any. So all of the Immortals moved up. The 2 roofs that are left alive. The Lich Guard and the Scorpex over here. And the Scorpex over there moving up to hopefully threaten those Seekers. So a Transcendent Catan popped out of that one. You got 10 of the old warriors with the Gauze Flares out of the middle one, and then 10 of the new warriors with the Gauze Reaper out of this one. There is a Catan on the field, so he's going to try and do Trans-Dimensional Thunderbolt into the Seekers. So on a 2-up, which of course it is not a 2-up. Oh well, he's still here, that's good enough. So Necron shooting then. That demon save. I'm glad that it doesn't extend to the actual Chaos Space Marines because, jeez, that would just be ridiculous. So the Doomstalker and the Doomsday Arc between them managed to do 4 points of damage to the new Demon Prince up there on the hill. The Hexmark over there and this Locust Heavy Destroyer killed off the Demonettes that were over there by the Night Lord's Rhino. The Immortals did a couple points of damage to the, whatever this thing is, Greater Possessed, Spawn, something. This hex mark killed off 3 of these Zangors right here. I think that might actually be everything that died. Or took damage. It looks like it. So for charges, the Scorpex that are over there are going to charge into the Seekers. And that's going to be it for charging. Alright, so the Scorpex made it in and annihilated the Seekers. So slowly taking back this section. They just gotta kill this guy off and hold anybody at the gates over there. That's a problem for next turn. So that'll take us to turn 4. Movement for the Chaos Alliance. Alright, so Chaos has definitely penetrated pretty deeply so far here. So the bikers are in the valley over here. The Space Marine Legionnaires, whatever they are these days, are up on this hill right here. All of these Zangors and Exalted Sorcerers have gotten really, really close. The Venom Crawler finally made it around the corner. The spawn thingies and this other group of Zangors still bolting up the middle, followed by the Hellbrute and the Proxy Knight Desecrator. And then over here on the other side, our other valley, our Slaaneshi side. So the new Demon Prince has gotten really, really close to the Transcendent Catan. The old Demon Princes just come around the corners there. Warp Talons have come in up here on top of the hill. The Rhino advanced way deep inside. The 2 War Dogs just, well, this one just stayed still. The one on the left, the one on the right moved up. The other Proxy Rhino moved up here. The War Dog, Shaloxi, and these Demonettes all moved up, as did the actual Knight Desecrator. I forgot about the other Proxy Rhino. It just moved up to take the place of the Rhino that moved back over there. Which takes us to the Psyker phase. Might as well start on this side since I'm already over here. Alright, so the new Demon Prince, Phantasmagoria, into that guy, the Transcendent Catan. Goes up on a 7. That's an 8. Roll 66. 6. Every 5 up is a mortal wound. That's 4 mortal wounds. It can only take 3 max. Puts it down to 6. Alright, so this Demon Prince is going to try and manifest Hysterical Frenzy onto the Demonettes here. Hysterical Frenzy goes up on a 7. Does not get it on a 4. So the other Demon Prince over there is going to try and do Hysterical Frenzy on these Demonettes. He gets it on a 9, so the Demonettes have +1 to attacks, and hit rolls of a 6 to generate one additional attack. Yeah, so that leaves us with Shaloxi Hellbane, who knows 2. So Cacophonic Choir goes off on a 7. That's an 8. Closest visible is the Scorpex. 3d6. If it's higher than the leadership, which it is not, 8 is definitely less than 10, so they take no damage for that. So the Cacophonic Choir, oh, that was the Cacophonic Choir. The Pavane of Slaaneshi goes up on a 6. That's a 5, so nothing happening there. Alright, so Psychic phase for this side of the table. These 3 Exalted Sorcerers here. So, where's it at? So this guy is going to try and manifest prescience on the Rhino. Goes up on a 7. So he perils and takes a point of damage. Deal with that in a second. So the one on the disc was the prescience. So the regular one, which is this guy right here, is going to do diabolic strength, hopefully. Goes up on a 6. Sweet. You can get it on a 10. You're going to put it on this guy, giving him +2 to strength and +1 attacks until the next psychic phase. And then this guy is going to try and manifest warp time. Goes up on a 6. Gets it on a 10. So we were trying to manifest that on this guy, so he immediately moves 3 inches. Right there. Well, that was infinitely more successful than the actual Thousand Suns game I played, so yay, Thousand Suns and Psychery. The Night Lord Sorcerers are still in the Rhinos, so that'll make it the Chaos Shooting phase. So all these proxy war dogs just failed to hit anything at all. The Night Desecrator over there did in fact do 3 damage to the Transcendent Catan. Well, it did 5 damage, but it only took 3. Nothing else really happened over here. A lot of shots were taken at the Scorpex, but these guys managed to save. So these small group of Chaos Space Marines here managed to kill off one of the Immortals. Between the Bikers and the Obliterator on the left, they killed off the Immortals. And the Obliterator on the right killed off one of these Scorpex. And that's really all that happened for shooting. Charging, though. So the new Demon Prince into the Transcendent Catan. Both of the old Demon Princes into the Scorpec Destroyers. The Demonettes into the Scorpec Destroyers. The Chaos Space Marines into the Immortals. The Bikers into the Scorpex. And the Exalted Sorcerer down there into the Hexmark. Things are about to get really, really hectic. I anticipate a much different landscape. I know I've said that before, but I think it's going to be true this time. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. So yeah, all these Demon Princes made it. All of their targets are dead. They definitely did the thing on killing the Catan. They did the 3 damage in the Psychic, the 3 damage in the shooting, and finally this 3 damage in melee. It's sad to see, but at least it got to come out, you know? There'll be another one next turn. These Legionnaires made it up here. They didn't kill anything. One of the Immortals actually managed to club one of the injured guys and kill him off. That was super weird. And the Exalted Sorcerer on the Disc of Tzeentch made it up here. He got the Hexmark down to 1 and then took no damage really at all. Oh yeah, because the point of damage came from his perils on the prescience. I don't know why I thought the Hexmark actually did any damage. That looks like it's it for charge and fight phase for the Chaos Forces. They've definitely made some inroads here. Definitely a lot of guys that are a lot closer than they were. Definitely gonna have to work a little harder to dig these guys out now. We'll see what happens. So we'll make it the Necron's turn for movement. So the Hexmark Destroyer regained health and then fell back over here. The Scorpex have moved up here to try and take on the Exalted Sorcerer. These Immortals fell back, leaving room for the Lich Guard to move forward, followed by the Warriors, the Old School Warriors. These New School Warriors moved up. The Hexmark, well, he wasn't really falling back. He was just moving away, I guess. So for things that popped out, Reconoptic Wraiths with Particle Casters and Vicious Claws popped out over there. A New School Overlord popped out here. And then the Catan Shard, the Void Dragon, popped out over here. Hopefully, he lives longer than the Transcendent did. I'm hoping so anyway. With that in mind, he gets a Catan power. We're going to do Voltaic Storm on a 2-up. That's 2-up. The nearest enemy, which is these guys, would be D3 wounds, but bikers are vehicles, so it's D6 mortal wounds. And it's only 1, which isn't even enough to kill it. Alright, well, since that was basically my Psyker power for Necrons, that'll take us to the Necron shooting phase. Where hopefully I don't roll a lot of these, because man, these suck. I'm not one to normally say that I'm disappointed in, dice rolls and whatnot, but I'm kind of disappointed a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. I mean, the God's Flare array from the Doomsday Arc here killed off one of these Zangors. So 7 of these warriors did a whole lot of damage to these bikers, leaving 1 left alive. So the God's Flare array from this thing killed off the biker, and then its Doomsday Arc gun thing, I guess it's not a Doomsday Arc, it's a Doomsday gun, killed off the spawn possessed thingy, whatever, that was over here. The Locust Heavy Destroyer that you can barely see killed off a couple of demonettes way over there. And then the warriors back there and the Hexmark did a couple points of damage to the Rhino. And that's really all that the Necrons managed to accomplish for shooting. I'm hoping that their charge phase goes a little bit better. These 2 Scorpex are going to charge into the Exalted Sorcerer. The Lich Guard are going to charge into these 3 remaining Space Marine Legionary Chaos guys. And these 3 Canoptic Wraiths are going to charge into this big bad Demon Prince. So, here goes. Hopefully these guys can pull this off. Alright, so the charge fight phase did kind of make me feel better about my Necrons and their rolling dice capability things. They all made their charges. The Scorpex absolutely killed the Exalted Sorcerer. The Lich Guard, for sure, killed off those 3 Chaos Space Marines. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that big new Demon Prince only had 2 health. These guys absolutely did a lot of damage to him. Like, enough to kill him twice. So that was pretty awesome that he failed that many saves. So they at least kind of still are holding on to this little courtyard by like a couple of claws. They definitely cleared this center area. So Necrons are kind of pulling back a little bit here. So I don't know. Here's to hoping. But that being said, that takes us to the Chaos Alliance and their movement phase. Alright, so the Chaos Forces have definitely taken control of this little area here with just the Wraiths, the Convergence, and a Hexmark. Those guys are probably in trouble. The Demon Princess moved up, the Warp Talons moved down off the hill. Some Havocs hopped out of the Rhino. This War Dog moved up. The Demonettes moved up. Shalaxi came up here to the hill. This Rhino pulled up over here with the intention of dropping guys out next turn. These War Dogs are just going to hang out still. Desecrator moved up. The Hellbrute moved up. The other Desecrator moved up. And the Zangors moved up. the intention of charging. The spawn thingy moved up on the hill, also with the intention of charging. The obliterators on the hill are just going to hang out over there. The Zangors over here all moved up with the intention of charging. Exalted Sorcerer is following behind them. Venom Crawler finally made it into really good shooting range. I mean, he shot last turn, he just missed terribly because Chaos Dice hate me. Yeah, I think that's all of everybody that. Oh, this, I keep forgetting about this proxy rhino. He made it into the courtyard, hopefully not dying, hopefully disgorging some guys. So that'll take us to the psychic phase. So neither of these guys have any psychic spells that are going to be of any use to Zangors or this rhino. So really all they can do is smite. So the closest one to the one here on the left is the Hexmark. Gets it on a 5. Maybe it's a 6. We'll pretend it's a 6, but I think it's a 5. Either way, he gets it. D3 mortal wounds. That's 1. Goes down to 1. So the other one is also going to do smite. The closest one to him are the Scorpex right here. He definitely got about the 9. Doing 2 damage to one of them. So one of those guys goes down to 1. Alright, so awkward movements aside, and we go to the other side of the board to the slaaneshi Psychers. Alright, so we got 2 Demon Princes and Shalaxi on this side. So one of the Demon Princes is going to try and do Hysterical Frenzy on the Demonette. Goes off on a 7. That's a 5. I guess the other one will try and do it. Hey, the other one got it with an 8. So plus 1 attacks, hit rolls of 6 or better, an extra an additional hit. So Shalaxi, Cacophonic Choir, goes off on a 7, and the closest one is the Wraith over there. Okay, gets it with an 8. So it needs to roll better than a 10 on 3d6 in order to do any damage. That's a 9. That's 1 less than the leadership. So then the Pavane, 6. Does not get it with a 4. Alright. Psychic power is not as helpful on this side. That's okay, there's lots of guns over here. That'll definitely make up for it. It'll be the Chaos Grouping's shooting phase. Alright, so a whole lot of things happened over here on this side. So it took all 3 War Dogs and both of the Night Desecrators, but they managed to destroy the Convergence that was over here. And then the Havoc Squad killed off the Hexmark. Over here on this side, this Obliterator killed off 3 of the Immortals on the ground over there. And this Obliterator finished off the wounded Scorpex that was over here. So losing that teleporter was definitely a major blow. Can't get any more reinforcements from that side. But just the race over there, that's probably gone. Things are looking kind of desperate for the Necrons right now, and we still have to deal with Chaos's charge phase. So these Zangors are going to charge into the Scorpex. These Zangors are going to charge into the Hexmark up here. The Spawn Possessed thing is going to charge into the Lich Guard. These Zangors are going to charge into the Lich Guard. Yeah, so both Demon Princes and the Warp Talons are going to charge into the Canoptic Wraiths. And that should about do it for this particular grouping. Let's see how well some of these guys can defend themselves. Alright, so both of these groups of Zangors made their charges. These guys lost 5 guys in Overwatch and didn't kill the Hexmark. The Hexmark killed 3 of these guys, and they didn't do really much of anything to them. So the Zangars and the Spawn-like thing both made it in over here. Managed to kill off 2 Lich Guard. Then the Lich Guard turned around and killed off the Spawn-like thing and 5 of the Zangars. So yeah, they all made it in, and the Demon Princes pretty much killed them all off. When I say pretty much, they left a Canoptic Wraith with 1 wound that the 5 Warp Talons actually managed to kill off. So that was sad. But the Lich Guard held strong, and somehow the Hexmark didn't die, so that was kind of cool. He should have died. This last remaining Scorpek's probably real lonely, but he's doing good, so... I mean, it was good news for Chaos on that side, but bad news for Chaos on this side. I don't know. With that being said, that does make it the Necron turn for movement. So things certainly are looking hectic for the Necrons right now. They did lose that convergence. That valley is pretty much gone. But, you know, things happen. So the Heavy Destroyer moved over here. The Warriors moved over, as did the new Overlord. The Immortal hopped up on the hill. 9 Scarabs popped out of this convergence over here, and hopefully they can do something to these demons over here that are so far resisting death. Over here, the Void Dragon and the Warriors both moved up, and 10 Praetorians popped out. They got the Void Blades and Particle Casters. The Hexmark fell back onto the hill. The Scorpek's just going to hang out where he is. Catan powers. Do Voltaic Storm. Closest enemy unit with an 18 is this Proxy Rhino. On a 2-up, because it's a vehicle, it'll take d6 damage. That's definitely a 2-up, so d6 damage. So the Rhino takes 4 and goes down to 6. It's not terrible. So, yeah, best phase ever, the Necron shooting phase. I'm feeling a bit more revitalized, feeling a little better about this whole Necrons getting overrun thing. So the Warriors and the Heavy Destroyer managed to take out all the Havocs, which was nice. The Doomstalker and the Warriors managed to take out the Rhino, and 2 of the Space Marines died during the explosion, which was super, super awesome. And this Doomsday Arc is starting to get a little bit of revenge back for the other one dying. The Godslayer array took care of the Zangors that were here, and the Doomsday gun actually killed off the Rhino. Sadly, it didn't explode, but it is what it is. So charge phase. The Void Dragon is definitely going to charge into these Chaos Space Marines. The Scorpek's still in combat. The Lich Guard is still in combat. This should be a lot of fun. The Lich Guard definitely just crushed the rest of the Zangars here. The Void Dragon made his charge, didn't suffer any Overwatch damage. Killed 4.5 Space Marines, which is nice to say, half a Space Marine. They didn't do a single thing to him. And then the Scorpek killed 2 of the Zangors, and they also didn't do anything to him. I mean, they're Zangors. I don't really see any morale here, for the most part. They already passed theirs. So yeah, that'll make it the Chaos Alliance turn for movement. Alright, so these Night Lords fell back from the Catan. Both of the Exalted Sorcerers just moved up. Venom Crawler moved up. The Scarab Occult Terminators dropped in out of their Teleportarium. And the Obliterators are just hanging out here. The Hellbrood is getting closer to the Lich Guard. The Knight has decided it's time to come over and try and do something about this big-ass Catan shard. There's just a wave of Chaos Forces coming through the gates over there and walking over the walls, as it were. The Warp Talons flew over here, probably to charge into the Scarabs. The Demon Princes actually made it up here, and they're going to definitely wreak some havoc while they're here. Both of these War Dogs made it in. The Rhino has decided not to move. The actual Desecrator made it into the courtyard. The Demonettes, which are somehow still alive, also making their way in. Shalaxi's come down off the hill. The Chaos Space Marines that were in the Rhino here have gotten out, and the Rhino's just kind of backed up a little bit. And this last War Dog is just going to hang out on the hill and shoot things. Psychic Phase. Far enough in the game that I'm okay with just doing Smite for most of these guys. So, for the Demon Prince on the left, his Smite is going to go off into these warriors right here. Gets it with the 7. Kills 2 of these warriors. So this Demon Prince's Smite is going to go off into the Scarabs that he's directly in front of. Okay, it's not going to go off at all. Closest enemy to Shalaxi Hellbane actually is the Scarabs. Pretty sure it goes off on a 6. So 3 damage to the Scarabs. Make them down to 1. Alright, so this guy actually has Diabolic Strength. And he's going to try and manifest it on this Exalted Sorcerer. Goes off on a 6. Got exactly a 6. So that guy is +2 to Strength and +1 attacks. And then that guy is just going to do Smite, I guess. Closest visible target to him is actually the Void Dragon. Gets with 7. Only does 1 damage though, putting it down to 8. And I think that actually is the end of this. Yeah, well, crap. These guys are Psykers, but I don't know why I forget that these guys are Psykers, but I did. So both of the sorcerers know Doombolt, and the closest visible for them is the Scorpack Destroyer. So for the first one, looking for a 9. That's a Perils. Alright, well, hopefully not repeating that. Well, a 5 is still not a 9, but it's not a Perils, so that's still better. Yay. Alright. That'll take us to the Chaos Shooting phase. The War Dog right here destroyed the Heavy Destroyer that was right there. And then the War Dog, the Rhino, and the Night Desecrator all teamed up to destroy the Necron warriors that used to be right there. On this side of the table, this Obliterator killed off the Hexmark Destroyer that used to be there. This Obliterator did 3 points of damage to the Void Dragon, maxing out its damage for the phase. So the Knight instead did 4 damage to the Doomstalker. And the Hellbrute actually killed the Lich Guard with its twin las cannon. I was so super impressed. Okay, so that will take us to the charge phase. It's going to be this Exalted Sorcerer into the Scorpack. Both of these Demon Princes are charging into the Scarabs. The Hellbrute is going to try and charge into the Lich Guard. And I do believe that is it for charges. So the Exalted Sorcerer and the Demon Princes made their charge. The Hellbrute was a whole lot short. The Exalted Sorcerer did indeed kill off the Scorpek. The Demon Princes killed off 7 of the Scarabs, and the remaining 2 did a little bit of damage to one of the Demon Princes. So yeah, that was ridiculous. Having said all of that, that'll make it the Necron turn for movement. The Necron Overlord here is gonna go after him some Demon Prince. The Scarabs are gonna stay in combat. These warriors have moved up, as have the Praetorians. The Silent King has popped out of this teleport thing here with its menhirs. The Royal Warden has also popped out of this one. This is going to be such a good fight. Catan Shard really wants that thing. Like, I jumped over this wall so I can go fight down this big giant metal thing. He wants it. Oh yeah, he has a power, doesn't he? Over here just salivating, thinking about the fight that's about to happen. So 2 up, it's D6 wounds because that's a vehicle. That's definitely a 2 up. So D6 wounds to that Chaos Knight. 2. I think that puts it down to 22 wounds, which will take us to the Necron shooting phase. Well, while the other side may be lost to the Necrons, and this side is definitely in hand. These warriors killed off the rest of the Night Lord Legionnaires that were hanging out over here. These Praetorians killed off the Zangors that were hanging out up here with the Exalted Sorcerer. The Godslayer array killed off the Exalted Sorcerer, and then its Doomsday Gun killed off the Obliterator that used to be on the bottom area right there. Because his Doomsday Gun killed off the other one. I really do like Obliterators when I'm playing as Chaos, but playing against Chaos, Obliterators are a pain. A ginormous pain. That's really all I can do for shooting over here. Charging, however, yeah, the Void Dragon is going to charge into the Chaos Knight. The Lich Guard are going to try and charge into the Hellbrute. The Overlord is going to charge into the bright, purpley Demon Prince. And the Scarabs are still in combat. That was a phenomenal combat. Phenomenal. The Overlord over here made it in, and between him and the 2 Scarabs, they killed off the Demon Prince, the shiny one. And then the dull one killed off the 2 Scarabs. The Lich Guard actually made their charge. I was so impressed. And they did a little bit of damage to the Hellbrute, but then the Hellbrute killed 2 of them. And then the one that I was actually salivating over, and I was not disappointed. Because it's a vehicle, it's D3 plus 3 damage. Yeah, so he did 19 points of damage. And it was a lot, you know, put him down to 3. And yeah, he hit him with a Reaper Chainsword, which nominally does 6, but since he can only take 3 total because he's a Catan, that wasn't terrible. Yeah, it was great. I do like seeing this guy just destroy knights because he does it very well. That being said, it'll be the Chaos Alliance's turn for their movement. The Scarabacle Terminators have split apart here, half of them following the Venom Crawler, heading towards this last protected valley. The other 5 following the Exalted Sorcerer, heading up to try and take on the Doomsday Arc. Some of the War Dogs have decided to hop up on the hill here to start raining fire down. Maybe they've decided to try and take out this convergence over here. The Warp Talons have moved way up here on the back side of the convergence. Everything over here is just making its way steadily over towards at least the center. These guys back here have advanced to at least get in the gate. This War Dog finally came off the hill and is making his way over. The Rhino and the HQs inside are just going to hang out. At this point, there's probably not a need for them to get out. They're feeling kind of lazy. Alright, so I don't know what round we're on. I think it's like 7 maybe. Been doing this long enough now that I'm just tired, per se-ish, kinda. We're just gonna smite for this guy. The Overlord's the closest one to him. He gets it on an 8. Does 1 wound to the Overlord. I'll mark that in a second. Shaloxi, closest one to her, is also the Overlord. Pretty sure it's on a 5. Well, we're gonna pretend it's on a 6 because I don't remember and I don't entirely want to look it up. So he can live a little bit longer. So after doing some careful measuring and whatnot, this guy cannot see any enemies at all. This guy can just barely see the tip of this thing, which is enough to smite it. And he'll get it with a 7. And do a point of damage to the Doomsday Arc. This sorcerer can see these guys, so he's going to try and do Doom Bolt. That's the closest I've ever come to casting it, and it still didn't go off. Which will take us to the Chaos Alliance shooting phase. The Scarab Occult Terminators here killed off 2 of these Necron warriors. And then the 2 War Dogs and the Night Desecrator managed to destroy this convergence of Dominion that used to be over here, leaving just this one over here. So the charge phase, the Warp Talons are going to charge into the Royal Warden, and the Demon Prince is going to charge into the Overlord. With the combats that are already taking place, the Lich Guard, Hellbrute, and the Catan Shard, and the probably soon to be dead Night Desecrator. The Demon Prince and Warp Talons made it in. Their targets definitely died. The Warp Talons definitely murdered. I mean, is it possible to murder a Necron? They definitely killed the Royal Warden, and the Demon Prince for sure killed the Overlord. Over here, the Hellbrute killed 2 of the Lich Guard and took a couple more points of damage. And yeah, the Knight didn't even do any damage to Catan Shard, and it definitely killed him, and it didn't explode, so good times. That'll take us to the Necron turn. Movement. The Catan Shard is moving over here to probably charge into that War Dog. The Warriors moved up a little bit to try and protect the gate a little bit better. The Praetorians have moved back towards the hill, probably to charge into the Warp Talons. And everybody else just stayed put. And nothing came to the gate this time. So for Catan powers, it's going to do Volcanic Storm. Closest visible enemy unit is actually the War Dog. 2 up. Takes D6 wounds because it's a vehicle. It takes 1 lousy wound. Alright. Well, that'll put us into the Necron shooting phase. Well, it was pretty successful. I don't know how good it's going to be long term. The Doomstalker and the Doomsday Arc killed off the war dog that was over here. These warriors actually managed to kill off 2 of these Scarab Occult Terminators. And then the Triumphal Menhirs destroyed the Demon Prince, and then the Staff of Shooting Stars killed off the Warp Talons. So that was super nice. The path is mostly clear. So charges, there's really only one charge here, and that will be the Void Dragon into the Halberd. The Void Dragon definitely made his charge, and for sure did all kinds of naughty, whatever Catan do to living flesh combined to metal, that just happened to the Halberd. It's very dead. Yeah. That'll make it Chaos's turn. Movement. So the Exalted Sorcerer, followed by the Terminators, just continuing to scale this hill to take on the Doomsday Arc. None of these guys are going to move because there's just not enough room really on the other side of the gate. All of these guys are just getting closer and closer to this side of the board. War Dog hopped up. This War Dog moved down a little bit further. Shalaxi got up. These Chaos Space Marines advanced forward, and the Night Desecrators moved up a little bit. So the Psyker phase. So for the Psyker phase, Shalaxi is going to try and smite the Praetorians because they're the closest enemy unit. If it goes off, the Silent King is going to try and deny it. Doesn't get it, so don't have to worry. And then the Occult Terminator over there, the champion sorcerer, is going to attempt to do Doombolt on the warriors. Didn't get that one either. Alright, so Chaos Shooting then. The Occult Terminators here killed off another 2 of these warriors. And then between the Venom Crawler, the 2 War Dogs here, and the Night Desecrator way over there, they managed to destroy the last Convergence. And that'll end the game. Which means that Chaos will have won this go-round. Which means that I'll have to come up with some sort of terrain idea, maybe somehow for inside a tombworld, since now these guys can get into since they've destroyed the defenses outside of the entrance, now they can enter the tombworld interior. And now I guess we can start a side narrative thing for underground fights between Chaos forces and Necrons trying to fight off invaders this way. It should lead to a good fun series of things if I can figure out how to make underground Necron terrain look convincing. So if you made it to the end of this stupidly long video, I do greatly appreciate it. I ain't gonna lie, it took like 4 days to film this thing. It's just massive. Massive. It's been a big game. This is the second time that I've done 5 factions at the same time. It's the first time I've ever done 4-on-1 before. So that was different. I think last time I said never again, but obviously that was a lie. Yeah. I would say to expect more ginormous games like this because I do have a ginormous table and I should definitely take more advantage of the 36 square feet that I have. Yeah, again, if you made it to the end of the video, I cannot express enough thanks for making it this far. Thank you a whole lot. I hope you have a great day.